We're now going to look at the financial layouts in Enterprise. This can be found in Accounting, Setup and Financial Layout. When you go in here, you can see as default we've got the standard profit and loss and the balance sheet. If you haven't added any new nominal codes, or you're not going to add any new nominal codes, then you don't need to change these. They will just be as standard. If I double click into it, you can see this is how it looks. So this is kind of grouping it by sales UK, EU, US. However, if we've left everything as default, then it will all just come to sales UK. If you want to rename some of these, then what we will have to do is create a new layout. So what we're going to do is just close out of that window there, and we're going to create a brand new P&L. So if we click on the next blank line and select profit and loss, and then in the description here, I'm going to change this to have, and then I'm going to click the save option. Next to the profit and loss, we can see these two little pieces of paper. Now we want to do this against the one that we've just created. If we click the copy option, it says which layout do we want to copy? We want to copy the default layout. So I'm just going to click OK down the bottom here. This will then open up the Apex IT profit and loss, and it's copied what we had set up on the other one. So what I'm just going to do now, just maximize the window to make it a bit easier to see. So I'm just analysing my sales, everything's just going to 4,000, therefore I don't want it to say UK, EU or US. So what I can do is if I just delete the description from there, what we can see on the left hand side we have account type and we can see the plus button. If I just click that to expand it, you can see that is made up of the 4000, 4001 and 4002 sort of default nominal codes. So I can leave that as it is. We can see here we've got a sum level, which is a bit like Excel where it does an auto sum. So what that's actually doing is adding up rows 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 to get a total. Your sales will normally be a credit, so therefore that shows as a credit, and the columns for left and right don't really matter as much anymore because of the way we look at the chart of accounts by period. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete these rows that I don't want here. So by right clicking on the line, I can then select delete selected and then get a notification saying I need to review my sum levels. It requires me to review my sum levels. Again, I'm just going to delete the US one. And again, down here in the purchases, I'm just going to do the same with these, and I'm going to delete these rows. So what I can see now is it started to narrow down my P&L. We can see here the sum levels have still got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So now I will need to change these because it's only adding up 3, 4, 5 and 6. So in here, if I just delete down and get rid of the comma at the end. So we're just adding up 3, 4, 5 and 6 with no comma on the end. The summary line for the total purchases for resale is now going to start at row number 9 and go to row number 13. So I need to change this, so I'm just going to go 9, 10, and that is now my sum levels for that particular section. What we've then got is the direct expenses, so I will also need to review these, and these are now going to be 16 and 17. And then we have a summary line for the total purchases and direct expenses. So the total purchases is 14 and the total direct expenses is 18. So I can actually change that to be 14 and 18. We then have the gross profit, which is going to be our total sales, which is 7, and then our total costs, which we can actually just do as the purchases and direct expenses, which will be 7 and 19. If we then scroll down the screen a bit, we can see here we've got overheads, and then we've got all of our overheads and then a total. So again, the overheads in this example are going to start at number 22. So what I've just done here, when I clicked into the field, I just pressed the home key on my keyboard to take me back to the very beginning of that field, so I don't have to kind of click with my mouse. So I've just typed in 22, 23, 24 and 25 because I think it already started at 26. And then we're going to end that at number 43. So if I just, while I'm in that field, if I just press the end key on the keyboard, that'll then take me to the very end, and I can then delete back up to 43 being the last one. And as we can see here, same with the purchases, all of these costs show as a debit. This should already be set up for you, so you shouldn't really need to change these. However, if you are going to insert something in here, just make sure you do it the right way round. What we've then got is our net profit and loss. So what this is looking at our gross profit, which is number 20, and our total overheads, which is 44. Now, the one thing we need to do is just check if there are any additional codes that we've not added. There will be a few because I've obviously deleted a couple of those sections out, but what we can see up the top here is we can see remove indent or increase indent. That basically does these sections here. So you can see it moving it in and out. We've then got the option to move up or move down. Again, you shouldn't really have to use those because they should be in the correct places if you're using our standard one. And then we have a check duplicates. Now what this button does, if we select that, it shows us if we've used an account twice within the P&L layout. So basically our figures will be doubling up somewhere. Or we have an accounts not reported tab. So in here we can see those ones I know about because I've just deleted those sections from the P&L. However, I'd previously created a nominal code which has not been added in to my P&L. So I need to go and add this in for advertising. So 6103 I need to add into the layout. So if we OK that screen, what we then need to do is decide whereabouts on the P&L we want to add this in. So I'm going to put this into advertising. It's a direct cost. So again, we can see the account type. So if I just click the little plus button, and then I can see here, I can just type in 6103 and press tab, and it has now added that into that section. I can minimize that. And if I now go back to the thumbs up and go back to accounts not reported, I can see that's now taken that out of there. So it's now saying it's used. If you are not going to use these accounts, then you can delete them, or you can make them inactive, and as long as there's no balance on them, then it doesn't matter whether they're in the P&L or not. Obviously, if there is a balance on them, then it will affect your financial layouts. If I just OK that window, and I've now done with my P&L layout, and I can just save and close. And if I finish with that screen, I can also save and close. However, if I wanted to do a new balance sheet, because I know I'm going to have some bank accounts in there, maybe the PayPal bank account, things like that, what I can do, again, in the next blank line, I can select balance sheet. I can then rename it to say Apex IT. And if I save that, and then again, I copy that, I copy the default balance sheet, and here is now my default balance sheet. Again, you shouldn't need to worry too much. What we would probably just need to do is down here, either cash at bank if you've created a new nominal code for a different bank account, or if you want to put the PayPal in the cash one, then we can add that down here. Again, if we click the little thumbs up to check the duplicates and accounts not reported, that will show you if there are any that require adding in. Okay, I'm just going to save and close that, and save and close that.